Let's go Broncos! The NFL world is buzzing, and not for the reasons you'd expect. What happened in Indianapolis is more than just a controversial ending. It's a full-blown scandal that's shaking Broncos country to its core. We're talking about a blown call so outrageous, even neutral fans and national voices are calling it one of the worst officiating moments in recent memory. But here's the twist. This might be the turning point Denver needed. What if I told you that out of all the chaos, out of all the frustration, a clear message has emerged? The Denver Broncos are not just contenders, they're dangerous. You're going to want to hear everything I uncovered from that game, every detail, every spark of hope, and the one player who's quietly becoming a superstar right under everyone's nose. But before we get into it, smash that like button if you've ever yelled at your TV during a Broncos game, and comment below, "Go Broncos!" This team is waking up because what I'm about to share with you might just change how you see the rest of the season. Let's get straight to the point. The Denver Broncos were robbed in Indianapolis. That wasn't just a bad call, it was an outrage. The kind of call that makes you question whether this league even wants to see us succeed. A leverage penalty was thrown late in the game after a blocked field goal that should have sealed the win for Denver. But instead of walking away 2-0, we're left shaking our heads. And it wasn't just fans or Broncos faithful making noise. Prominent voices with zero rooting interest in this team, like Dave Portnoy, were calling it out. Even an umpire on the field was caught shaking his head, visibly unhappy with the call. He practically begged them not to call it. But they did. And that, Broncos country, is infuriating. Historically, this leverage call has never been used on a play like that. We're talking about 51 total times it's ever been called in NFL history, and all but this one were during extra points, not field goals. Yet this was the moment they decided to change the rulebook. Justin Simmons barely pushes off with one hand, a foot over the top, nothing egregious, nothing that isn't done by every other team. And still, they throw the flag. But when the Colts do the same thing on our missed field goal, no call. That's the double standard we're dealing with. Even more confusing is the identity of the player flagged. On the field, it was one name. In the official record, another. No clarity, no accountability, and worst of all, no justice for the Broncos. We're watching the same exact play on both sides, but only one team gets punished. It makes your stomach turn. But here's where it gets interesting. This team is built differently. Despite the heartbreak, despite the officiating disaster, this offense showed up and showed out. Bo Nix silenced every critic in that stadium. The Colts fans around were stunned, some even impressed, saying, "This guy is good." And they're right. Bo Nix looked sharp, elusive, and in complete control. His pocket movement, his ability to throw on the run, the timing, this is the guy we drafted for moments like this. Let's talk about that throw to Troy Franklin. Left roll, full sprint, deep bomb, on the money. That's not a throw many NFL QBs can make. Joe Burrow? Not with those legs. Caleb Williams? Maybe not with that kind of accuracy. Nix made it look easy. And then that absolute dime to Marvin Mims? He wasn't even open. Nix threw him open. That's elite level quarterbacking, folks. And don't get me started on Sean Payton's play calling. Creative, bold, effective. That goal line rollout with Bo Nix under center, just genius. And even if the receiver wasn't wide open, Nix could have run that in himself. He's that dangerous. At one point, Bo Nix looked like he was about to have a 6-touchdown game. That's how in sync this offense was. That was the concern last week, but not anymore. Offensively, we're firing on all cylinders. And once Dre Greenlaw returns to stabilize our defense, we're going to be right back in the conversation as one of the most balanced teams in the league. Let's not ignore the rise of Troy Franklin either. This guy is not just WR2 material, he's looking like a future star. 89 yards, a touchdown, 51 after the catch. He's dynamic, explosive, and fearless with the ball in his hands. Whether it's on screens or deep routes, he's making it happen. Everything we saw in training camp and preseason is coming to life. He's the real deal. Now here's one thing we do need to fix, Evan Ingram's usage. It's been disappointing. Only 38% of offensive snaps? That's nowhere near enough. 2 seasons ago, he was on the field 72% of the time and had over 100 receptions. Bo Nix didn't have a strong tight end presence last year, so maybe it's just a chemistry thing. But it's time to build that connection because Ingram can be a game changer if integrated properly. Meanwhile, defensively, there are questions. Last week, we looked elite. This week, Daniel Jones threw for more first-half yards than any QB did against us in 10 games last season. That's not acceptable. Maybe Vance Joseph overcorrected, got too cute with the game plan, trying to avoid blitzing after it backfired against Miami. But he's a smart coordinator. He'll adjust. And with Greenlaw back, we'll have that linebacker anchor to contain tight ends and backs. Let's not forget what happened last year. After a crushing loss from a blocked field goal, the team could have folded. Instead, they reeled off 4 straight wins. That's what Sean Payton brings: resilience, grit, and culture. He's going to have this team roaring into week 3, hungry for revenge, hungry to dominate. Coming up, we face the Chargers. If we take them down, we're right at the top of the AFC West. And guess what? Kansas City's 0-2. They've got problems, and they don't have help coming anytime soon. After that, it's the Bengals without Joe Burrow. So yes, everything is still in front of us. And here's where we pick things up, Broncos country, because this conversation is far from over. That devastating call in Indy isn't just a one-off. It's symbolic of a larger issue that's plagued this franchise for years. We're not new to being on the wrong side of controversial officiating, but this one felt different. This time, we earned the win. We had it, and it was taken from us. That leverage penalty didn't just erase a spectacular special teams effort. It rewrote the outcome of a game where Denver finally looked like a complete team on both sides of the ball. Now, here's the thing. What separates the good teams from the great ones is how they respond to adversity. And Sean Payton knows that better than anyone. Look around the locker room right now. This is a team that's bonded by frustration but fueled by belief. They know they're close. They feel it. And with Bo Nix playing like a poised veteran, it's no longer about if, we're talking about when it all clicks. Let's get deeper into what Bo Nix showed us, because it wasn't just the stat line that impressed. It was the composure. It was the way he walked into Lucas Oil Stadium, shrugged off the crowd, and operated the offense like a surgeon. When the pocket collapsed, he escaped. When the coverage was tight, he trusted his receivers. And when Sean Payton dialed up aggressive calls, Nix delivered. That level of confidence in a young quarterback is rare, and exactly what this team has been missing since the prime Peyton Manning days. Bo's connection with Troy Franklin is something special. That's not just a rookie receiver spark, that's chemistry built from trust and reps. Franklin's YAC ability adds an entirely new dimension to this offense. He's not just a deep threat, he's a playmaker in space. He turns routine screens into 20-yard gains. He turns tightly contested go routes into highlights. Broncos fans, we might be watching the rise of the best receiving duo we've had since the days of Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders. Marvin Mims deserves his flowers too. The catch where Nix threw him open was pure art. That route, that timing, that execution, it shows these young guys aren't just developing, they're producing. These aren't just flashes. This is sustainable, and it's only going to get better. But the offensive momentum doesn't just rest on those passes. Let's talk about the creativity from Sean Payton. The motions, the rollouts, the play action, it's exactly what we envisioned when he took over this offense. He's getting Nix on the move, playing to his strengths. These are the wrinkles that keep defenses guessing. And that goal line play where the entire defense was caught off guard by Bo rolling right? That's vintage Payton, scheming guys open and giving his quarterback high percentage options. Still, we need to see Evan Ingram get more involved. Right now, his usage is nowhere near where it needs to be. 38% of offensive snaps? That's just not good enough for a guy who once had over 100 receptions in a season. Whether it's a lack of chemistry or a playbook issue, this needs to change. With Nix growing more comfortable, incorporating a reliable tight end like Ingram could be the key to unlocking another level for this offense. He's too talented to be this underutilized. Now let's pivot to the defense, because we've got to talk about Vance Joseph. It's clear he tried to pivot away from the all-out blitz-heavy scheme that didn't work against Miami, but the adjustment in Indy went too far the other direction. There wasn't enough